All right, here we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you haven't met me, I'm JD, and I'm a spiritual being in recovery from addiction to alcohol and drugs. And if we could, let's please start this meeting with the good old serenity prayer, the we version. Please take a moment, bring your hands together at your heart center, close the eyes, inhale deeply, exhale fully. Inhale. Spirit, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining in the Rediscovery program. Tonight, we're just going to go through kind of an overview and a hello to everybody. And then we'll have a little bit of questions and answers. So I guess a little bit about this program and myself. So like I said at the beginning, I'm also in recovery. And what we're going to go through over this 12 weeks is a culmination of everything that got me to where I am today. Living very spiritually contently in sobriety and abstinence. So it was a long journey. Like many of us, I started very young, smoking dope at about 13, moving on to alcohol once it was illegal, and struggling with anxiety and depression. Another one of my addictions was love and relationships and codependency. So, pretty much a big human ball. So I eventually found both the 12 steps and the practice of yoga, and more specifically Kundalini yoga, specific teachings on addiction recovery, a number of meditations, physical exercises, diet, that were all specifically designed from ancient teachings to help people recover. So we're going to go through that process. The other main reason I, as well as a lot of the people that, in my decade now, more than that, I guess almost 2 decades of being in and out of the rooms, people struggle with spirituality. They struggle with the God that they were brought up with, that they were taught. And the beauty that I find in the essence of the 12 steps is a higher power of your own understanding. And so many people struggle with that and misunderstand and have not yet been able to find a higher power of their own understanding. So that's the other offering within this program, is to go through some different options for you to be able to do that. Now, if you've already got your spiritual path solid, then that's great. By no means do I want to infringe on that in any way whatsoever. Rediscovery Online Workshop Participant Agreement. So the goal of this workshop is to assist individuals in finding a path to freedom from suffering and addictions, and to find a new or renewed spirituality in their lives. So there's going to be assignments. There's going to be a meditation of the week, 2 physical yoga practices with yoga kriya. The physical practice of yoga is kriya, and there'll be a bit of writing, a bit of reflection, a bit of work. And then as well, we're going to be doing the 12 steps. That's work too. Now, this is different than a sponsor-sponsee relationship in any of the 12-step programs, because I'm not your sponsor. I'm a step guide. Now, if you already have a sponsor, fantastic. Please, especially when we're doing the work 4, 5, 6, work with your sponsor. If you don't have a sponsor, but it's on your to-do list, if you could get that done within the next 3 weeks before we get to 4, 5, 6, that would be very helpful for you as well. Okay. We can talk about that more as we move closer to that date as well. So, results. The process is intended to generate a path to the true self, a spiritual awakening, a transformation in which each participant thinks, feels, and behaves. However, each person will have his or her own experience based on individual effort and spiritual maturity. The majority of the people who commit to this type of work have found a profound change in their lives. It works if you work it. I will drop occasional 12-step slogans, and only because, you know what, as cheesy as that they can sometimes be, they really do resonate true for that. So the process is personally challenging. It requires personal introspection and self-examination. Some of this endeavor may produce uncomfortable feelings of memories around unresolved issues and things that have happened in the past. At times during this work, an individual may experience unusual periods of sadness, anger, or fear. In the event the participant's personal effort does not resolve these feelings, the individual involved may find it necessary to obtain professional help and even stop participation in the workshop. So this is a voluntary program. That's why we go through this participant agreement. Know what you're getting into, know your boundaries, reach out and get help if you need it. Okay. It's like when we do the physical practices, we want to push ourselves really hard, go further than you ever think you can. When you think you can't go any longer, push a little deeper, but know when to stop when it's going to hurt yourself. All right. All right. All right. So me, Yogi JD, is a yoga student and a teacher. So like I say, I've been in and out of the rooms since 2004. I have now just passed 2 years of sobriety, of straight sobriety. I've had numbers of long and short periods of times within the rooms. But when I finally, now some people may say, oh, that's only 2 years. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I don't. But I'll tell you this, it took me a long time, and I've done a lot of work in this program. And when I finally dug deep and gave myself to the work, I had a spiritual awakening that's promised. And then this is my 12-step work. This is my taking care of myself, and this is helping others. So I hope that you benefit from that. As far as my training goes, I have my Hatha teacher training, 200-hour certification, as well as my Kundalini yoga teacher training. I've taken the Kundalini yoga training once for my own certification, and I've assisted in 3 more trainings as an assistant. I have taken a Kundalini yoga for addictions program called Beyond Addiction. I have taken the preliminary program with Super Health, which is out of the Kundalini Research Institute, as well as the Y12SR level 1. So, like I say, I've been doing this a bit. I've been doing a lot of work myself. So I'm not an expert. I don't think anybody until they dig deeper. We'll see. All right. So what I would like you to do more for yourself than for me is the consent for the workshop. Now, there's a couple of things that you have to acknowledge is that your participation in this workshop is voluntary. Okay. And you can read the statement. I have read this participant agreement. I acknowledge that my participation in this workshop is voluntary. I understand that there will be personal work assignments in the workshop Participation is totally voluntary. I also understand, although this workshop is intended to help me grow spiritually, at times it may be difficult and uncomfortable. In no way do I hold the workshop facilitator responsible for any positive or negative results during or after participation in this workshop. Have to take responsibility. And I think we all know when we really have to look at our addiction, our step one, our program, our admitting, we have to take responsibility for our actions. And if you endeavor to continue on this path, which I'm very, very glad you're all here, it's going to take some responsibility. 2, I personally vow to be responsible for my own anonymity and that of the other participants in the workshop. So like any 12-step program, anonymity is key. We need to keep our own anonymity. And then an anonymity, I think, is our own choice. I am a very outspoken proponent of destigmatizing addiction and mental health. And I think that's important too, but it's also very important that people make that choice for their own. There was many years where I wasn't able to do that. In certain workplaces, you just not have that available. But since I've dedicated my life now to doing this work, I'm able to. But we know that a lot of people in a lot of situations aren't able to do that. So you do what you need to do. Physical yoga practice. So the practice of physical practice is the limb of asana. So I am participating in the video yoga classes offered by the Rediscovery program, during which I will receive information and instruction about yoga. I recognize that yoga requires physical exertion, which may be strenuous and may cause or aggravate physical injury, and I'm fully aware of and willing to assume the risks and hazards involved. So depending on where you are physically, and I will endeavor as we go through this, as I learn who is in this program and your physical capabilities, to make sure that I give a lot of different options so physically that you feel safe. All of the program that we're gonna do for the next 12 weeks can all be done in a chair. So those options are also available there. This is a little different if you haven't done a lot of Kundalini yoga. It's a little different than Hatha yoga. And I don't say this derogatorily, the very commercialized yoga, very attractive thin people in stretchy pants, balancing, twisting. That's not this. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just not this. Okay. It's very accessible, and I endeavor to make it more and more accessible. All right, yoga is not a substitute for medical attention, examination, diagnosis, or treatment. Yoga practice and our specific poses are not recommended for individuals with certain medical conditions. So you may want to, if you have medical conditions, you may want to talk to your doctor or health practitioner about your boundaries. There won't be a lot of, there's not going to be a lot of really strenuous things. You'll be able to take it further. You'll be able to make it more aerobic, but the teachings will be given at a mid-level. All right. I accept that neither the instructor nor the Rediscovery program is liable for any injury, damages, personal property resulting from participating in the physical yoga classes. As the programs matured and developed, it's generally a sponsor-sponsee relationship. In the big book itself, it actually said, because of course when they started there was less than 100 people, so it actually says it can be usually another participant that's suffering, that's challenged, that's in recovery from your same addiction. And the reason that the program works so well is one addict talking to another, one alcoholic talking to another, one Al-Anon talking to another, because otherwise they won't truly understand. The other option is within that is that it could be, as it says in the big book, it could be your priest, it could be your psychiatrist, it could be your doctor, your MD, somebody who knows you well, who you have total trust and faith in, and that's not going to judge you. And I'll say a bit of a spoiler alert. You do your fourth, you have to write out all of this stuff. You feel really bad about it. You tell somebody, and if they've been through what you've been through, they'll go, that's not so bad. And it doesn't make it, it's the understanding. It's finding somebody with that compassion. And we'll go more into that as we get there and we set ourselves up for 4 and 5 and 6. But let's there are a few, and like I say, we'll talk a bit more about it as things go on. And okay. As we get closer to 5, we'll expand into it more. Other programs I've done similar to this, group settings, you may develop a relationship with somebody else in the group, and somebody else in the group, because I don't even know where everybody's from that's in here, and that somebody else may need a partner. Generally recommended that it not be of the same sex that you are attracted to, because there can be it can skew your ability to share. Not always, but that is another general rule. So as we move closer to that, we will have some other options. At this point, I don't think so. I don't think, because I imagine that there may be people from other 12-step programs. So I will provide a generic, what we're going to talk about when we do the step work itself. I'll provide a genericized universal 12-step. So what we're doing is a universal 12-step. If you have a big book, I highly recommend it. I don't know how many times I read that book and I didn't get it until I really read the book and saw the wisdom in it. If you're, because I know one of the programs you're in, Mary, but other people might not be in the program, but every book has those great stories. So if you're not in AA, if you're in NA, if I don't even know, we maybe get some people in here from one of the 2 Buddhist recovery programs. They have some great stories in their books too. So by all means, have it as a reference, but for this program itself, it's not necessary to have the full text of your 12-step program. All right, well, let's just settle in and let's just do a nice 3 minutes. Start off, let's do a nice little 3-minute meditation that'll get us settled in, that'll get us centered at the end of this meeting. Across all the different yoga platforms, schools of yoga that I've studied, this is probably, other than just long, deep breathing through both nostrils, this is probably the most, the meditation that's through, the breath meditation that's through all the programs that I've been. So breath meditation or pranayama. So you can either take your index finger and your thumb. I like to use the Hawaii hang loose symbol, the pinky and the thumb. And this is called alternate nostril breathing. And what it does is it balances the brain. It balances the two sides of the brain. So therefore, literally centering your mind, centering your body, physically, mentally, spiritually centering. Okay. So wherever you are, if you're in a chair, if you're sitting on the floor, you're in your bed, just sit up tall and straight as you can. Take the pinky and the thumb, and we're going to cover the left nostril with the pinky. We're going to inhale. This is my right hand. Sorry, right hand. Close the left nostril. Inhale deeply through the right nostril. Hold the breath ever so slightly. Switch. Cover the right nostril with the thumb. Exhale through the left nostril. Hold the breath out just for a second. Inhale through the left nostril. Hold the breath ever so slightly. Close the left nostril with the pinky. Exhale right. Inhale right nostril. Switch the fingers. Close. Exhale left nostril. And continuing that pattern, so you're always switching while you're holding your breath in. Continuing that and working on having the inhale and the exhale of the same volume of air and about the same length of time. You can count to 3 to 4 to 5, and then out. Keeping the switch back and forth. Mind starts to wander, you forget where you are, just start over again. Just bring the focus back to the breath. Inhale, hold, switch, exhale. Inhale, hold, switch, exhale. One more minute. All right, and the next time you exhale, release the hand and inhale deeply through both nostrils and hold the breath. When you can't hold the breath anymore, exhale. If your eyes are closed, gently open your eyes. All right. So take a note. If you're ever stressed out, if you're ever can't get focused, if you're ever a little zingy-zangy, just do that for 3 minutes and see how that brings you back to center. All right. So thank you all for joining in on this journey. If you have a friend, if you have a sponsor, if you have sponsees, please have them sign up, have them join us in this journey. And I think it's been really good. So I'm in this 100% with you. And like I say, my email box is always open. Please send me a note. Please reach out if you need help. Take care of yourselves. Satnam.